I believe they're political prisoners. Is that how you view your wife, Ray?
I think as time has gone by, pretty much so. I'd say most definitely. I think they've been really harsh on her.
Breaking right now, growing fury over the fact that Lucy Connolly, the political prisoner in jail for over 2 years for one post on X on the day of the Southport massacre, is being punished in prison behind bars because she spoke out to Alison Pearson of the Daily Telegraph in a piece of journalism which has completely changed the way that the British establishment and politics looks at this gross injustice. Now, I've been covering this story on Outspoken for months, and in just a moment, we'll hear from Alison's Planet Normal co-host, Liam Halligan, of the When the Facts Changed Substack and YouTube. But I just want to kick off with one of my interviews with Ray Connolly, the Conservative councillor husband of Lucy, where he really makes it clear that his wife is a UK political prisoner. It is genuinely sick and twisted. I've spoken so much about the case of Lucy and also Julie Sweeney, a very similar woman who is a carer, a grandmother, who received a similar sentence for a post on Facebook. Now, I believe they're political prisoners. Is that how you view your wife, Ray?
I think as time has gone by, pretty much so. I'd say most definitely. I think they've been really harsh on her. Um, I just, I joked about it beforehand that, oh, you'll be coming with me when we do the community payback teams, and they come litter picking and painting with our teams. I thought that's what she might end up doing. I thought I had visions of her coming in painting and whatever, play parks and whatever.
Yeah,
Or litter
no,
picking a few of them.
no, not even, you wouldn't even believe that in the UK in 2024, a housewife would be sent to jail for 2.5 years, 31 months for posting on X. It is extraordinary. And Liam Halligan, one of the reasons why I absolutely love both yourself and Alison Pearson and your brilliant Planet Normal podcast, which is part of the Daily Telegraph umbrella, is because, and you really started this over COVID and lockdowns, you are prepared to go where most of the mainstream media, which you know I'm very critical of, will not touch. And I think Alison has really done that here because she has changed the national conversation over Lucy Connolly. This case, when you look into it, Liam, when you really dig down in the details, which Alison did in that 6,000 word feature, shames Britain, doesn't it?
I was journalism that changed the political weather. Alison pours herself heart and soul into her stories. She's very modest about it, but she is actually a very, very talented researcher and investigative journalist in her own right. We laugh and joke on Planet Normal, as you know, Dan, that she's actually the economic expert on Planet Normal, not me. But over recent months and years, when the economy's become really important, she has learned a lot about economics and gives me a run for my money. But she really comes into her own on stories like this, human interest stories where there is injustice involved. She was, of course, at the centre of a political furore herself when police came to her front door in the market town in Essex, where she lives, on Remembrance Sunday, early morning, in front of all the neighbours, and were feeling her collar about a social media post that she had put out a year before and deleted very quickly afterwards. And so, the Lucy Connolly case, similar, except for the fact that Lucy Connolly, a mum from Northampton, a mum who tragically lost a child with her husband Ray in earlier life, a woman who is really sensitive to the idea of kids getting harmed in the aftermath of the Southport murders. Put something out on social media which was really pretty nasty, but she realized that very quickly and she took it down very, very quickly. And rather than a warning, rather than, even community service or a fine, the judge absolutely astonishingly has put this woman in jail for 31 months when she's got a school-age kid, when there were many, many extenuating circumstances, when she was getting character references from loads of other mums whose children she had been minding professionally, mums of all different races and ethnicities, saying this wasn't Lucy, this is not her character, she should not be in jail. And yet the judge put her in jail for 31 months. It seems so disproportionate to me.
But first, I never recommend anything unless I truly believe in it. And today I've got something that is really game-changing for you. Have you ever stopped to think about how crucial comfort is, especially down there? Well, let me tell you, today's Outspoken is proudly sponsored by Sheath Underwear, the revolutionary brand shaking up men's comfort across the globe. And here's what makes it even better. Sheath was founded by a US Army veteran, Robert Patton, while he was serving in Iraq back in 2007. So that's right, this isn't just any underwear brand. It was designed for the toughest conditions imaginable. Patton was battling relentless heat and discomfort in full combat gear, and he thought there has to be a better way. So he created it. And let's be honest, traditional underwear doesn't just cut it anymore. Sheath's innovative dual pouch design ensures your comfort all day long, keeping things separate, cool, and fresh. Imagine your essentials being comfortably cradled away from unwanted friction and heat. Trust me, it is genuinely transformative. Now, I've personally tested Sheath. I wear them at the gym, on long days at work, even just relaxing at home. I'm telling you, once you've experienced Sheath, there is simply no turning back. These underwear are stylish, they're supported, and they're really set up to deliver unmatched comfort. I guess I describe it when I'm talking to my mates like upgrading from economy to first class, but for your underwear. And right now I'm offering you an exclusive 20% discount at www.sheath.com. Sheath is spelled SHEATH. So yes, that's 20% off your entire order when you use my special promo code Outspoken at checkout. So what are you waiting for? Sheath is the perfect present, by the way, if you're looking for your husband, your boyfriend, your son, your brother, your hard to buy for best mate. But here's the thing, ladies. On the website, you will see, look at that. There are female versions available too, so you can also buy for yourself. I should tell you as well, and you can see some of them in action here, Sheath, the first official underwear of the UFC. So click the link below or visit sheath.com, enter Outspoken at checkout. Make sure you remember to do that for your 20% discount. And then you can thank me later when you're feeling comfortable, confident, and ready to tackle anything your day throws at you. Sheath underwear, redefining comfort one pair at a time. But now, back to the show.
And I know Alison feels that the sort of judicial system really did have its finger on the scales here. Journalists, we think really hard before we make statements like that. They're very serious statements. But in this case, was the state trying to make an example out of certain people who said certain bad things in the aftermath of some absolutely horrific murders of 3 young girls in Southport, a Taylor Swift themed dance class? Because the state was saying, oh, it's not a terrorist related thing, it's fine, but there were, the state should have said a lot more at the time about what was really happening, but the state covered it up in some kind of mass thought control process, and that's never the right way to do things. And it was a difficult moment in our national life, but you don't bang up a mum for 31 months. And, mainstream politicians now, as a result of Alison really ramming this case in the public's face, and the Telegraph did a really good job of projecting the story. I thought the space they gave her, in the paper for it. The fact we've been covering it on Planet Normal, and we'll be talking about more on Planet Normal when we record tomorrow, Wednesday. It'll be out on Thursday about the case. I think Alison has really re-energized among the public the sense that we really shouldn't be putting people away for 31 months, particularly mums of young girls, the mother of a family that's been traumatized by the death of a child after negligence. By the way, a mum who's caring for a husband, Ray, who has his own needs that she had been helping him to deal with, his own health issues. I say that about Ray with respect, of course. And so I do think that we need to look again at this case. Surely it's disproportionate. Surely it's disproportionate for a mum to be banged up for 31 months. And Alison has now established Lucy Connolly is not being given the kind of home leave that many other people in her position get, because the authorities are worried that she's such a notorious case now. So she's being doubly punished because the injustice of her case in the eyes of so many is now being highlighted. It's really important that she goes home and spends time with her daughter and her husband. It's really, really important. And on humanitarian grounds, that now needs to happen. And I'm astonished that it isn't happening. But I don't think the political heat over this is going to dissipate anytime soon.
Well, it's interesting, Liam, because Kemi Badenoch became the most senior politician to speak out on this.
After reading Alison's piece.
Indeed. And we can show what she posted, actually. She really thought about it a lot and goes into a lot of detail. What interests me, and I was actually on the Mark Stein cruise last week with Alison, so you're completely right. I saw how much this impacted Alison. She lives and breathes a story.
Enormously.
But Dan Hodges, the Mail on Sunday political columnist, thought it was a terrible decision for Kemi Badenoch to weigh in on this case.
He accused her of jumping on a bandwagon. I was perplexed about that because Dan is not thick by any means. Dan Hodges is a clever guy and a good writer, I would say. I don't know where he's coming from on this. I don't know why he's so determined that Lucy Connolly should stay in jail. Just talking about Kemi Badenoch, obviously she's an engineer. She talks a lot about the fact that she's an engineer, and she is genuinely an engineer, but she's also got a law degree, by the way. So she knows her way around the judicial system as well. And she would not have posted that tweet without taking serious advice from people in the judiciary about the extent of that sentence. So it is a big deal when the leader of the opposition puts out a tweet like that, basically challenging the judiciary. But I think there's a sense in this country, normally as a journalist, I'd be really queasy about politicians trying to second guess the courts, right? About politicians trying to influence judges, right? That's the sort of thing that happens in sort of tin pot banana republics, right? There should be a genuine separation of powers. That's the sort of basis of a civilized democracy. So normally, as a journalist, I'd be quite concerned about a politician weighing in on a legal case. But I think in recent months and years, there have been some real crazy examples of two-tier justice that I think it's right that politicians are actually calling out a judiciary that, increasingly seems to be revealing itself as stuff full of sort of, woke, lefty, liberal judges. And a sort of, a legal aid industry that always seems to be promoting certain causes when they're clearly, going up against the sort of weight of public opinion. And as I say, this is in ordinary times, politicians shouldn't be calling out judicial decisions. But I don't think these are ordinary times. I don't think these are ordinary times, Dan.
No, they're not. They're absolutely not. They are extraordinary times. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.